What's up? Welcome back. We're here today to talk about the division with one of the best run teams and one of the worst, which I guess you could probably say about any division, but we're fixing the NL West today, baby. Let's get to it. So we are going division by division, taking a look at each team and finding their biggest need entering the 2022 offseason and deciding how we're gonna best address that for them. We've already checked out the AL West. If you want to go check that out, it's in the previous video. So today we're doing the NL West. But before I pretend like I know what the fuck I'm talking about and could actually be a GM for 10 minutes or so, like the video and subscribe to the page. It helps share it out to other baseball fans, and you don't want to miss out on this series, your favorite team's biggest needs, and any of the other baseball content that we're going to have coming out on this channel. All right, we are going to start the NL West off in Arizona, where the only real free agent for this team this offseason is reliever Ian Kennedy. And this is still a pretty younger, developing team that's got a couple holes in it. When you look at Baseball Reference's wins above average, two main spots that kind of jump out are their pitching was not that great, and you always got to start with the rotation before you even bother with the bullpen. And the other spot was the middle infield, shortstop and second base. Now, their offense was okay. It still had its holes for sure and the things that we can try to improve on. Their pitching, though, was definitely worse. Now, despite saying this and being a firm believer that you build a team with pitching, I think good pitching beats good hitting. Where we're going to look to improve this team is at shortstop, and specifically, we want to try to get a hard-hitting shortstop. The Diamondbacks were 27th in wins above average at shortstop, mainly because Geraldo Perdomo had a 58 OPS plus, 59 WRC plus, and defensively he wasn't much better, with -2 defensive runs saved and a -0.7 ultimate zone rating. Now don't get me wrong, this team needs pitching, but in terms of their prospects, they're number 4, 5, 8, 9, 11, 17, 23, and 30 prospects are all starting pitchers who are at least have played at AA or higher. They also had 2 that debuted for the team this season. So reinforcements are on the way, and if we're gonna upgrade the offense, this black hole at shortstop is where we have to do it. And I say we want to find a hard-hitting shortstop because all of the stuff about their approach was actually fairly good. Their walks, strikeouts, walk to strikeout, all that stuff. Where this team was lacking, exit velocity was 24th in the league and hard hit percentage was 25th. So if this team can keep this good approach at the plate, and then you just start squaring the ball up just a little bit more, you start getting a little more hard hits, like the ball is gonna find a hole. And all of the like on base and slugging and everything that was a little more towards the bottom this year, that stuff will take care of itself. Have good at bats and hit the ball hard, and good things will happen. All right, next up is the Colorado Rockies, who were one of the worst teams in baseball this last year. They've got a lot of holes on this team. They've got a handful of free agents, but nobody that's really like a big impact player or anything. And this team needs younger players coming in to start like establishing themselves and make an impact. Across the board, they were bottom tier in wins above average in starting pitching, catching, shortstop, center, right, and don't even get me started on all the fucking stats and everything that they are bottom tier at. Like, there's a lot to address here. So I go back to the rebuilding thing for me. And when I want to rebuild a team, it starts with the foundation. And the foundation for me, especially in Coors Field, is you need pitching and you need starting pitching. So let's add something to this rotation. The Rockies were 27th in wins above average for starting pitchers, coming in dead last in strikeout percentage, exit velocity, and hard hit percentage. And we're at the bottom in home run percentage allowed, home runs per fly ball, despite allowing one of the lowest fly ball percentages in baseball. Fucking Coors. Something needs to be done about this rotation. Not a single starting pitcher had a fielding independent pitching under 4. And only their number 16 and 20 prospects are starting pitchers that have touched AA or higher. So I know it's hard to pitch in Coors, but that can't be the excuse. You have to try to do something to fix this rotation. That brings us to a team that doesn't really need fixing, but I think they're gonna need some retooling this year. That's the Dodgers, who have quite a few noticeable free agents. David Price, Craig Kimbrell, Trey Turner, Clayton Kershaw, Tyler Anderson, Joey Gallo, Andrew Heaney, and even more. But I'm not gonna list all of them. The Dodgers continue to be one of the best organizations, teams, everything in baseball again this year. But looking at them, there are some things that we can retool, we can try to address. Center field was one of their lower wins above average. They gave up quite a few fly balls and had a higher launch angle for their pitchers. But there's one thing that we just cannot let happen for this team. You traded everything that you did to get Trey Turner into town. You let Corey Seager walk so that he would be your undisputed shortstop. You cannot just let the production that he's given you walk out the door. You have to do something to keep that same kind of level at shortstop, whether it's bringing Turner back himself or one of these other top free agents out there. Trey Turner put up 6.3 Fangraphs WAR this year with a 121 OPS plus and a 128 WRC plus. Their closest shortstop prospect is their number 15 prospect, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he's not gonna be Trey Turner right away. I know, super hot take. Now we do need to do something about the starting pitching. Between Kershaw, Anderson, and Heaney, you're gonna lose 64 starts, 377 and 2/3 innings. But the Dodgers just continue to put out starting pitching. They have depth. They have a fuck ton of prospects that are pitchers that are all supposed to be here pretty soon, 2 of which debuted this year. So I'm not as worried about them with their starting pitching. You got to do something to replace Trey or bring him back. Just plain and simple. And right down the road, we have the Padres with free agents Mike Clevenger, Josh Bell, Sean Manaea, Brandon Drury, possibly Jurickson Profar. Like, we got some spots to replace on here, and they actually have a couple things that they actually weren't really that good at this year. Offensively, it was pretty noticeable that they were lacking a power bat or two. Like, they were towards the bottom in a lot of the power statistics. But I think the main thing that we need to address here was it came to their pitching. They really didn't get a lot of ground balls, and their bullpen wasn't good. We need to do something about that. First and foremost, we're going to start with the rotation. Again, I know I'm a fucking broken record, but we need to get some ground ball starting pitching into this rotation. You're losing 2 starters possibly in Clevenger and Manaea to free agency. Yu Darvish, despite how good he is 35, and Father Time fucking catches up eventually. But the main sore spot for this pitching staff, 26th in ground ball percentage, 23rd in fly ball percentage, all due to a pretty high launch angle. We got to do something to get the ball on the ground, because all of those fly balls, while it may lead to a lower average allowed, you're gonna give up more runs because you're giving up doubles and home runs. The Padres number 11, 12, 13, and 30 prospects are all starting pitchers that have at least hit AA. So there's some reinforcements coming, but this is a team that's trying to compete right now. Go out and get one of the better starting pitchers on the market this year. Somebody that's gonna keep the ball out of the air as much as the rest of these guys fucking have this year. All right, this finally brings us to the Giants, our last team in the division, whose main free agents, Brandon Belt, Jock Peterson, and he's gonna opt out. If he's not, I'm gonna slap him. I don't even know him, but I'll find you. Carlos Rodon. The Giants had one of the better pitching staffs, leading in a lot of the statistics, especially due to a stupid high ground ball percentage. The one thing they could improve is get a couple more strikeouts, but I'm nitpicking at this point. Where we need to address is they were 26th in wins above average for position players, mainly due to a high strikeout rate and a high fly ball rate because they were just trying to launch the ball, but they weren't hitting it all that hard. You still have Brandon Crawford and Wilmer Flores under contract, and there's a team option on Evan Longoria, so if they want to keep him, they can. There's not a whole lot of room really left in this infield, so where we're going to look is we need to get a center fielder, I think, that's going to not strike out all that much. And their defense was fucking awful this year. So I say center field. You could really go for any outfield spot. I know the rumors about Aaron Judge going there, but if they can find a center fielder that can really cover ground out there, that's going to be a huge difference for this team. Their number 18 prospect, Elliot Rames, made his debut this year. He's really about the only outfield prospect that's like close to being at the major league level. Their number 21 prospect is the only other one that's like had any kind of extended time at AA or higher. So the reinforcements aren't in the organization. You're going to have to go out and get somebody. And if the Giants want to still keep competing, I think this is where you got to go. All right, this is how we're going to improve the NL West before next season. Is one of your favorite teams in this division? Let me know how you would fix any of these teams and tell me if I'm wrong. I know you will because it's the YouTube comments section. And if you made it this far, like the video whether you enjoyed it or not because you're still here. I got you. Subscribe to the page because we're going to talk about every division in baseball. We've already talked about the AL West if you want to go check that out next. And we're going to cover a whole bunch of different baseball topics on here, and I know you don't want to miss out on that. Thanks again for watching and just being a part of this, man. I really do appreciate it. Have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.